Hello and welcome back to the First Heretic. You're here today with me and with Austin, and we just jump right in to the last episode here. And the part we're talking about here is the oral depression, because I did not know what a depression is.
Yeah. Depression is sort of like any sort of like lowering of the ground.
But wouldn't that be a valley?
No, because a valley is very... Like, a valley is in between hills, normally. So...
And that would be a Schlucht.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, it's fine. I don't think a lot of people know. It's fun, though.
But yeah, a valley tends to give you the idea of something that's, like, longer than it is wide. Right? Because it's generally like between mountains or something. A depression is more like, it's more circular, I guess, and it's more for flat ground. Like if the area is pretty like level and then there's a dip, that's a depression. Whereas if it's like hills or mountains or kind of rolling terrain, it's not going to be a depression.
Makes sense.
Yeah. All right. So, in the Urgal Depression, the next bit is kind of the part we all know, right? It's talking about Korax and Ferris and how they're finishing beating the shit out of people and are now, the traitors are on the run a little bit, but Angron's still doing his thing and nobody knows where Horus is.
No, they know where Horus is.
Well, he's watching, right? But he's not like in the fight.
Yeah, it's fair. He's just watching, laying back. Lazy piece of...
Yeah.
Wolf? He's also wolf, yeah. There we go.
He's the lesser wolf.
He's the first wolf.
Yeah, but it was a shitty nickname for him. They actually mention it in book 7 when they're talking about like the pre-Space Wolves. And like how they start getting the moniker Space Wolf and like, oh, it sort of annoyed Horus because these guys obviously were better wolves than the Luna wolves.
Yeah, because it's so great to be a wolf.
I mean, if you're going to be named after an animal.
Bears? Bears are awesome.
Bears are lazy.
Excuse me?
There's a reason nobody wants to play the Space Bears. Although there is a Legio Ursus I found out a little bit ago, which is very exciting.
There we go. Ursus, the cave bears.
Yeah.
You don't want to be mad. You don't want to have a mad cave bear, do you? Well,
no.
That doesn't matter, I guess.
Although in English we call them short-faced bears, the like massive cave bears, and that's really not as an intimidating name either.
No, we just call them cave bears.
Yeah. Much better name.
Hulen bear. Regardless.
Yeah. So it's sort of a basic overview of like, look at the first wave go. And then the second wave, starts coming down and the traitors already on the ground begin withdrawing. And then it flicks you over to Argel Tall. And he kind of, he gets down, he kind of takes a look around, sees it like, hey, everybody's, the Night Lords are moving ahead. The Iron Warriors are setting up field fortifications. The first groups of loyalists are starting to come back, and he winds up being closest to the Raven Guard that are withdrawing.
Oh, yeah.
And then the problems, well, they don't quite begin yet. Then it jumps over to Dagotal, who is, if you remember earlier, I think he's just a sergeant, right?
He's also a God of War back.
Yeah.
And he rides a motorcycle?
Yeah, he's got a jet bike.
Yeah, jet bike. There we go. He's a biker.
Yeah, he's got some outriders. And he is also very excited to murder the shit out of people.
Of course. If it's your religion to do this stuff, then you will absolutely be excited.
Yep. And it's sort of just building. Like there's a few pages of just like everybody's ready. Everybody's ready to go.
There's even a countdown.
Argel Tall's giving the countdown. Yeah. Argel Tall, 60 seconds, 30, 20, 10.
And every time he's counting down, thousands of warriors are answering because they actually know what's going on. They know.
Yeah.
They are ready and they're waiting.
They're real excited for it.
Yeah.
And then
There's the Raven Guard.
poor Captain Torisan of the 29th Company of the Raven Guard is like, "Hi, Argaltal. Thank God you're here.
Brothers, this is amazing.
Good hunting. Glory the word bearers. Glory to the Emperor." And Argaltal doesn't respond. And Torisan's just like, "Brother? Question mark? What are your plans for the assault?" And
Yeah, he gets a short flashback.
yeah, he gets a short flashback of him being taken by Erebus, actually, when he was just a little boy. So flashes back to, his selection to be an aspirant of the Legion.
Yeah, last time he saw his family.
Last time he saw his family, he remembers his 4 older sisters, remembers his youngest sister's name, which is kind of unusual for Space Marines.
He remembers the oldest sister, too.
Oh, yeah.
Demara.
It's weird.
Yeah, it's a nice tidbit because she kept telling him every day that he's good for nothing, but she's crying. She's really sad that he's leaving.
Yeah. Yeah, and it is something that's normally burned out of a Space Marine. Like they just, especially one, Argaltal has been doing this for at least a century, probably, maybe even longer. They don't remember like the names of parents and sisters and friends or any of that.
I mean, there's no reason for you.
Yeah, even a normal like 6 or 8 year old, if they're removed, you have a 6 or 8 year old kid and he moves, right? He won't remember the names of his friends for the most part, 2 years later, let alone, hey, name all your first grade classmates right now, Caro. Can you do any of them?
Yes, I can.
A couple? All right. Give it another century.
Yeah, let's see if we're gonna get there with technology. But yeah. He's going through a whole flashback. And he is saying, "Forgive me," whispering.
Yeah.
And then he just...
Because he's still got that trinket, doesn't he?
He still has a trinket, yeah.
Yeah, he's still got the trinket.
Yeah, so I think I have described it earlier. It is some teeth of wild dogs. And every few years when the leather rots, he's just pulling it on a new string and taking it with him.
Yeah, he's a little sentimental. But
really
so
is.
he goes, "Forgive me," and the Raven Guard's like,
"What?"
He's just kind of like, "What? Didn't quite catch that." And then Argaltal's next words are, "All word bearers open fire." And that doesn't, like, it goes about as you'd expect.
Yeah, he doesn't die instantly. He has enough time to realize that the Raven Guard is betrayed.
Yeah, Torisan isn't actually annihilated.
Yeah.
His sergeant, it doesn't clearly state, but maybe his sergeant stepped in front of him or something. Because it mentions that he pushes the body of his sergeant away.
True.
So obviously he caught a whole bunch of fire meant for the captain. But yeah, that it's a massacre, as you would expect.
They're sandwiched.
Yeah. They're trapped. They were surprised. They were like a foot away when the word bearers open fire. It all goes to shit.
Yeah, they come out of the war tired, or out of the fight tired, and trying to resupply, catch a nice break. Nope. There they are, backstabbers. Also, this part is why I really like Argaltal. He has remorse. And he still does it, which makes him a pretty bad person, but a very good Space Marine because,
Yeah, they got one job and it's to do what they're told.
Exactly. Do what Daddy tells you.
But yeah, he is probably one of the very few, not even word bearers, but just like traitors opening fire at this moment that isn't all about it.
Yeah. I can't think of any other, honestly. Real traitor who didn't want to be in this. Maybe Karn? I don't know.
Yeah, Karn probably would have been happy to not, but Karn was so busy nursemaiding Angron that, like, what are you going to do?
To be fair, usually they lost their mind at that point in time anyway, so it didn't make a difference.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even he lost his mind.
Quite a bit. He gets better.
Yeah, let's talk about it another time. There are good books about that.
Yeah, we'll get to Betrayer. It'll be fun.
Yes.
So after this initial murdering at the hands of Argeltal, we flick back to Corferon, who is hanging out and just kind of watching because God forbid he do anything useful in a battle. He's right there with Erebus and Lorgar, just kind of watching the opening salvos, murdering the Raven Guard and the Salamanders. And Lorgar can see Fulgrim and Ferris having their duel kind of in the distance, which is kind of interesting because he's just sort of he seems very uncaring about the actual results of the duel while he's there watching it. He's just sort of yeah, I never really knew. I wanted to be buddies with them, but, Fulgrim thought I was a failure. Ferris Manus is sort of, not really my cup of tea. I wasn't his cup of tea. This is sort of a shame.
But he has another flashback with fond memories of his brother Ferris. Well, fond.
Yeah, having an argument with Ferris because Ferris can't make anything that isn't supposed to blow something else up.
Yeah, but he made what was it, a crozier?
Yeah, and it was real rude. Lorgar's being all bitchy about it.
Bitchy? I mean, it seems like he doesn't know what to do for it.
Yeah, and then Ferris gives him Illuminarum, the big Crozius mace that Lorgar runs around with. And Ferris is just yeah, don't break it. And don't even bother saying thanks because
yeah, just leave.
We have nothing but awkwardness to share. And Lorgar just leaves.
He was good at listening sometimes.
Sometimes.
Hey, I keep telling you, he did not, nobody told him to not do what he did before. But before they destroyed and blew everything up, but No,
I fully support that. They didn't know nobody told them not to, right? They had the general, we have the Imperial truth here, but nobody stopped him. The Emperor came down and was Lorgar was hey, God, look at this planet that I have to worship you, God. And the Emperor just kind of rolled with it.
Yeah.
A 5-minute discussion would have saved all of these problems.
Yeah, but I don't think the Emperor is interested in talking.
No, he's really not.
Apart from he wants his tool working. Well.
Yeah, he doesn't want to have to coax his Primarchs into doing what he wants any more than I want to coax a wrench into doing what I want. I just want it to work.
Yeah, but I think Lorgar was a pretty bad wrench.
Yeah. So then it flashes back to the battle, and this flashback, suddenly Lorgar's having second thoughts, which again,
he's weak.
It's happening. The massacre is happening. His troops have opened fire on loyalist forces. It's too late. Even if he magically had the word bearers join the Imperial troops and turn on all the traitors, they're not getting out of there. They would just be annihilated. So it's too late. He's in too deep. He's not ordering the attack. Corferon starts yelling at him about you've got to order the attack. This is the whole plan. What are we doing? And Lorgar's just starts blaming Erebus and Corferon.
This was not my design, and you know it as well as I. Yeah, you didn't even plan it yourself. You had your underlings. Well, you supposed underlings do it for you.
Absolutely. Congratulations. You were manipulated.
Absolutely.
But it's a little late.
Too little, too late. I also like the fact that Corferon keeps calling him boy.
Right? Corferon, you're not even a space marine. You shouldn't be talking to a Primarch like that. But Lorgar listens to him.
Of course he does. He's I don't know what he is.
And then Corferon, Lorgar finally takes umbrage at being called boy by Corferon, And Corferon's just like, you're my son, not the Emperor's. You're bringing hope to mankind. Or fucking up everything for literally forever.
Well, not for the Chaos Gods.
That's true. Not for the Chaos Gods.
You gotta say positive, you know?
Yeah.
But let all the Primarchs and Space Marines fight and die. It's fine, because we go back to our favorite slime bag.
Yeah. The Lorgar finally decides to get his ass in gear, and we go back to Ashok, who's still on a ship, and now a little concerned, I think.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't worry about the war. He just worries he wants to be alive, all the good things.
Yeah, he wandered off a little bit ago, if you remember, before the actual battle started, to take some really pretty pictures
Trying to become famous.
in places he wasn't supposed to go to become famous. But now there's a void battle on, and that's starting to freak him out. One, he's lost because he's wandering around where he's not supposed to be. Like, he's in the word bearer's area of the ship. And two, stuff is happening, right? Like, the ship is taking fire. Deep Profundus loses shields, which is a little unlucky for, a trader ship in this situation. So he's getting kind of slammed into bulkheads with explosions coming in. Some of the bulkheads are sealing. The doors are just shutting because maybe there's a hull breach, or maybe just for safety, you shut all the doors on a tube, and if one of them gets blown open, the air doesn't get sucked out of everywhere. So he's starting to freak out. He's worried he's going to get caught. He's worried he's going to get killed. He can't figure it out. And then it just gets worse for him.
Yeah.
Because then he starts getting hull breaches in the area that he's actually in. Like, there's smoke coming down, emergency lighting comes up, and he is fairly confident he's going to die. And foreshadowing, not wrong, but not in the way he thinks.
You never know how you're gonna die.
Unless you're Argel Tall.
Yeah, Ishak has a bad time, a real bad time, thinks he's gonna die, is sure he's gonna die, and then we go back to Argel Tall, our favorite one.
Yes. He is very sure he's not going to die, because he has gone full on Gal Vorbak, like, has claws.
Mm-hmm. The good stuff.
Butchering his way through Ravengard. And he's also realizing that having a demon isn't all, whisperings in your mind and creepiness. It provides him with some tactical advantages, because Raum is now saying things like, blade left, danger.
Kill.
Lot of kill.
Many kill. Much kill. Probably a bit of eating.
Yep. So Raum is kind of helping him make his way through this battle, murdering as many Ravengard as possible while avoiding being killed in turn. And the Ravengard, again, this is, if you're a Ravengard fan, like, right? This is a drop site massacre. Your boys have a bad time. And I don't think there's a single Ravengard that gets mentioned in the rest of the book
by name
that lives for more than 2 paragraphs.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think so either. Well, Korax.
That's true.
Ravengard.
Korax, but he's a Primarch. He doesn't really count.
But still, by theory. Anyways, the Gal Vorbak, Safin is absolutely ecstatic. He thinks the Gal Vorbak are finally awake, but Argel knows better.
Yeah, it turns out that just because you have claws and a demon face that matches your own movements on your helmet, you're not as Gal Vorbak as you could be. He hasn't yet heard that scream that Raum told him to expect.
And they woke up, but are they really awake, or are they just in the kind of awesome phase when you're awake but still could sleep if you just close your eyes again?
Yeah, they're just kind of halfway there. And he is at this point literally ripping Space Marines and power armor apart with his bare hands.
Yeah, it's really graphic and real nasty.
No.
And he keeps talking to himself. No peace amongst the stars.
Yeah.
Only the laughter of thirsting gods.
Yeah, so given, which for those of you that, don't read a lot of 40K Black Library books, those are both lines from the sort of cold open to all of the 40K Black Library books. Kind of like how we have Horus Heresy, It Is a Time of Legend, right? The 40K ones have a different one, which ends with that there is no peace among the stars, only the laughter of thirsting gods. And what's interesting about these two lines is it's written like it's being said by both him and Raum. So when Raum is talking, you get kind of a bold, like it's bold and italicized. And obviously Argel Tall is just kind of regular font. And these are half and half.
I have to point it out again. Audiobook. Real good audiobook.
Yeah, you keep talking about it. I'm going to have to get it now.
Yes.
And everybody's having a good time. Well, all the Galvorbach are having a good time. They're howling. It's doing good. Argel is howling loudest of all. And then a shadow of great wings eclipses the sun.
The prophecy.
Just as that old gypsy lady told us about.
Are you saying Raum is an old gypsy lady now?
No, it's a quote from Archer.
Aw.
It's like, just as that old gypsy woman said. Totally sidetracked now. All right, I'm back in it. It's Corax. Spoiler alert.
Of course it is. And he's not just Corax. He is, he's anger. He's not anger and not rage. He is wrath in physical form. Because, fair, your brothers just betrayed you and are currently killing all of your sons and all the legion you love. Yes, he's wrath.
Like, you've lost this fight. There's no way to come back. It's just, how hard are you going to die?
How many can you save?
And it turns out that Corax can die pretty hard. And is just butchering his way through the Galvorbach.
You mean kill real hard, huh?
Yeah, kill real hard. Like, he doesn't even die. We know this, right? You've been around the Heresy long enough to know that Corax makes it out of this. And it just goes, like, it starts going to shit a little bit for Argel Tall and the Word Bearers, because naturally a Primarch will tip the balance no matter where you are. So all of the Galvorbach just sort of turn on Corax and charge him. And it doesn't go well. Like,
no.
The first one is annihilated without Corax even looking around at him. Like, that's how good a Corax is. And, Argel Tall is running over, and Raum says, "We die in the shadow of great wings." And Argel Tall is like, "Yeah, I know." And makes the jump.
He's just ready to die, I guess.
Yeah, I'm sure he thinks that this is probably an excellent way to go out. He's not probably feeling too great about himself. He's going to do the job, but he would rather not finish the job. And being butchered by Corax is a great way to not finish that job.
Yes, he's just a tragic figure. Meanwhile, back to Lorgar, because, he's just watching. He actually tried to kill some Raven Guard.
Yeah. Take careful note here. Take careful note here. This is the one time Lorgar does anything useful. He kills a couple of Space Marines.
Yeah, he feels bad about it. He doesn't want to kill. He doesn't want to fight. He's there for religion. He's there to lead the new empire. But he actually does something, and Corferin gives him shit the whole time because he doesn't really do it efficient. You can see it's like half-hearted. And Lorgar is also worried about his brother because Corax is not running away, what he would clearly do. No, Corax is trying to save his legion, trying to get as many out as possible. He's going to where they're really getting killed and try to make the difference.
Yep, and I mean, if Argel Tall's view is anything to go by, he is, not turning the tide, but certainly he goes wherever the Raven Guard are getting murdered the most and stops that.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes Lorgar sad. He's killing so many of us, Lorgar says, like you're supposed to do other things in a war.
Corfaron, on the other hand, he knows. He knows. So your deeds are obtained on these killing fields. You must not face your brothers yet. It is fate. We play our destiny parts as the Pantheon wills it.
It's fate because Lorgar's a little bitch and would get raffle stomped.
Yeah, he would not stand.
Raffle stomped by any of the loyalist Primarchs, let alone the ones that are here.
And yeah, kill the Raven Guard. This is what you are here to do, boy. Yeah, kill the kids. Don't go for the adult. He's gonna beat you up. Kill the kids.
Yeah, shit, that guy might, has a fair fight, and fair fights are for suckers.
Exactly. Oof. But for once, Lorgar has a backbone and actually stands up to Corax. Well, stands up, goes and tries to prevent all of his favorite sons getting killed by Corax.
Yeah, and it's funny because he says, I'm doing it. My life is my own. And Corfaron just straight up says, he'll kill you. No.
Yeah, and he says, my death is my own as well. Which is true, but come on, good. Come on.
I mean, everybody needs a pithy phrase when they're going to their own death. But I do think it's funny that Corfaron's just like, he'll kill you. And you could read that as Corfaron having some, paternal instinct over Lorgar. Like, oh, I don't want my kid going off to get killed.
No.
But exactly, Caro. Exactly.
Yeah, Corfaron doesn't have feelings. He has plans, and he needs Lorgar. And that's all he cares about, I'm pretty sure.
100% agree. Don't let it fool you. Corfaron just doesn't want Lorgar killed before he's supposed to be.
Exactly, before the gods need him or something, I don't know.
Yeah.
Lorgar goes ahead, tries to go again against Corax. Those names are killing me sometimes. And he uses a psychic power. All the psychic power he normally cannot use or is just coming and going, doing weird stuff. He's getting a bit of access to it. He screams. And his mind screams? I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, he yells mind bullets. And
Corax.
That is apparently the thing that the Gal Vorbach were waiting for.
Well, Corax also cries, so I think this cry of Corax and Lorgar, this is it. This came to voice. It's the cry of the gods we have both been waiting for. And yes, there we go. Then he becomes a full Gal Vorbach.
Yep, and it does. He tries to fight it a bit.
Yeah,
he thinks he's going to die. He doesn't want to fight. Yeah, Raum wants him to release him. And Argeltal.
Let me ascend.
Yeah.
Release me.
And Argeltal closes his eyes, and Raum opens them.
And yeah, graphic description of our dear new Argeltal. I think I liked the one before more.
Yeah, I'm generally a fan of sentient beings without cloven hooves or claws with too many joints. I'm not even entirely there's something unsettling about a claw with more than one joint. I don't know what they're doing. It's weird.
Knuckly spines, dense bone ridges through the armor. It's even taller than Astartes.
Yeah, legs jointed the wrong way, but still somehow in the power armor. It's your classic demon transformation. It's unpretty.
It's not supposed to be pretty.
It's not.
And yeah, he has horns. There's just everything. It's a bit of the devil with all kinds of weird demon stuff you can think about. But you can still tell where he's from because still around his eye hole there's a serrated sun.
Yep. Just in case you were wondering who that big demon is.
Mm-hmm. It's the Crimson Lord.
And then we leave Raum in Argeltal's body, because that's probably the best way to describe it now.
In their body? I don't know.
In their body, I guess. Yeah, that's fair.
Raum is driving right now.
Raum is definitely in the driver's seat, and he has certainly adjusted the seat settings.
Oh yeah, he did. Isn't it the worst?
It really is.
And we go back to Ishak.
Yeah. And man, if he thought he was having a bad time before, he's having a real bad time now.
Yeah, he just makes it through a bulkhead door before it slams shut in front of him. He's running. He doesn't know where he's going. There's sirens. There are lights. He's full-blown panic and has no idea where he is. He's just lost. And then there is it. 4 other soldiers. Well, 1. 3 are dead. And 1 wants help.
Yeah, but not like that kind of help. He wants a mercy shot.
Yeah, shoot me, you stupid best. And Ishak doesn't even know how to use a gun.
Yeah, he does the embarrassing, all right, fine, I'm going to shoot you, puts the gun to his head, and doesn't know that the safety is on or how to turn it off.
Man, oh God, this poor guy just laying there in pain, trying to get a mercy shot, and then he has somebody who even has to explain how to take safety off. Oof.
Yeah, it's just not a good way to go.
It is not at all. But he got it. Ishak got what he wanted.
Yep. He shoots the guy, shoots a keypad for a door he can't get through, and gets into the wrong room.
And it's a real weird room.
Yeah, it's full of the stink of unwashed flesh.
Sign pressure, obscenence, or biological origins. It's just a bad room to be in, but he gets people.
Yeah, there are voices mumbling.
Yeah.
It's not great. But apparently it makes a hell of a picture because he just starts taking photos and thinks, man, this is going to make my name. Bro, you are in the middle of a battle, have wandered into a room that is so deeply unsettling you don't have words for.
Picture time.
Yeah, leave. Shit.
I tell you, this is he's an Instagrammer.
Yeah. Like he thinks he's going to get his invite to Fire Festival off of this one. I tell you what.
And this at last was the image for him. And we leave him again. Oh, I hate this sometimes so much. There we are finally at some interesting spots and it just keeps swapping around. Cliffhangers.
Right? It's just like a million tiny cliffhangers in every friggin' chapter.
It is.
But it is a page turner, tell you what.
Yeah. This is
friggin' ADB knows how to keep you entertained.
It's good stuff. And yeah, we go back to Logar, and Logar is just contemplating what he has done because Corax actually knows what the heck he's doing, while Logar doesn't know what he's doing. He's just trying to survive.
Yeah, it drops you off straight into the two of them having a duel, presumably to the death. And Lorgar seems to be getting the worst of it, which shouldn't surprise anybody because it's Lorgar.
Yeah, Corax tries to get some answers. He's up. Of course, he's mad as heck. He tries to... He's a poor reflection of the father. Everything is war. And Lorgar just keeps telling, I'm bringing the truth to humanity. And of course, Corax doesn't want to hear it. Nobody wants to hear it. He's betraying them. And he doesn't get it.
Yeah, nobody wants to hear, I'm bringing the truth to humanity. No, Lorgar, you're fucking everything up.
No, you're just killing a bunch.
They yell about that. Yeah. Lorgar says, I've seen our father, a bloodless corpse, enthroned upon gold and screaming into the void forever. Which technically is the future. Now. None of these people seem to, understand that demons lie. You notice that?
I mean, he said the truth. It's just he needed to do all the things in order to make it true.
Yeah.
Corax is getting ready to kill Lorgar. Has the claw to the face of him. Starts crying. He's screaming and he doesn't do anything.
Yeah. Lorgar.
He just takes it. He's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna die.
Lorgar's just like, do it! Do it!
He lied to us. Father lied. Yeah, that matters.
Like Corferon.
While you're currently getting
Corferon
killed.
Isn't. Yeah. If only.
He just keeps screaming to do it. He tells Corax to do it. Kill me, do it. But no.
In what I can only assume is his best Arnold Schwarzenegger voice. Do it! Do it now!
Now you really confused me, man. But yeah, he doesn't get to you.
Amazing that you don't know all of my '80s American cultural references, Caro. It's like you're from another country. Jesus.
Especially, man, 80s.
If it's not David Hasselhoff, you don't care about the '80s.
Huh? I also don't know David Hasselhoff, man.
It's fair.
I'm too close to the 2000s. But Corax doesn't get to kill Logar, and we're all real sad about it. Because another horrible Primarch comes along. Shorty, Kurz.
Yeah, Kurz saves him. Yep. It's great. And Corax, having not got a straight answer out of Logar, decides Conrad Kurz is the one he should ask. Why have you done this? And Kurz just doesn't even answer him. He looks at Logar in one of my favorite lines in this whole book, looks at Logar and says, "Rise from your knees, you accursed coward."
Yeah, with the disgust written plain across his carcass face. Like, Kurz is already having a bad time in general, and he still has only disgust left for Logar.
You are the foulest weakling I have ever seen, Logar. Again, in the middle of a fight with another Primarch, he takes time out of his busy day to make sure Logar knows he thinks he's a piece of shit.
Yeah, and while he is mad talking at Logar, Corax uses this moment to just get away, because he's smart.
Yeah.
Because even if Logar is not very useful, Logar and Kurz at the same time, no.
Yeah. And it's interesting because we find out, they go into this duel again from Corax's side in Deliverance Lost, and there's really interesting like thought process that Corax goes through. But I won't really get into it here because
I didn't read that book yet, so we're gonna wait for that.
No spoilers. Yeah, it's a good one. I enjoy that. Like, Deliverance Lost is a solid one.
Also,
I think it
is probably. I mean, every recommendation you gave so far is good. But
you heard it here first.
Yeah, Logar says thank you to Kurz, and Kurz is thank you, Conrad. And yeah, he's just useless. Kurz tells him to go back, killing Astartes with your pretty hammer.
Yeah, and interestingly, he just, Kurz says that Logar is rancid with corruption. The Night Lords never really went in big for, the Chaos Gods. Certainly not at this point in the Heresy.
Mm-hmm.
But it's interesting that even now, essentially day one of these guys being official traitors, Kurz doesn't really like what he sees in his allies, and that will come back to bite several people as time goes on.
I mean, to be fair, I don't think anybody liked anybody in the whole Heresy. They just went together because they had to.
Yep.
But hey, there's a happy ending here. Logar gets Argatal back.
Yeah, he, saved Argatal from essentially committing suicide by Primarch, and sends him off to go, murder anybody else he can find.
Hunt well, my son.
And then it kind of zooms back out a little bit through Argatal's perspective, because Argatal is sort of running around murdering folk, and you get the vision of, all the Thunderhawks that are on the ground for the Raven Garden Salamanders are just being annihilated by the Iron Warriors, so they can't get away. Some of them manage to escape, but most of them are annihilated. Word Bearers and Night Lords are kind of bitching that Iron Warriors are shooting down, Raven Guard Thunderhawks, which then crash into Word Bearers and Night Lords. And the Iron Warriors' response is, to Cor Ferron bitching about it, is, "Have faith, Word Bearer," and then just hanging up, which is great.
It is great. But more talking. Oh yeah, he felt Argatal. He felt somebody die. Interesting.
Yeah. Argatal and the whole of the Gal Vorbak are sort of have this, not just alt consciousness, but they have kind of an awareness of each other.
They have their own Vox link without Vox.
Yeah. And they can tell when others of their kind die.
And he died in fire. which is not very pleasant, I would assume.
No, it's not a good way to go at all. But the demon's in charge now, so he doesn't pay too much attention to it. And they're, here he goes killing again.
Yeah, the demon moved to sate his new hunger. And we're gonna go to Ishak, who's trying to sate a different hunger. Because he had a real bad day. He wants to forget.
He wants to be famous. Yeah, he has a bad time now. And he is, I guess, taken all the pictures that he wanted to take of the absolutely terrible place he was in, and is now sort of running or walking or just trying to get back to a part of the ship he recognizes and not get shot by any of the mortal troops that are acting as security on the ship.
Yeah, and where does he go? Of course he goes to where the alcohol is.
Yeah, straight back to the bar.
Yep. And just trying to get some shots in, trying to calm his nerves. And somebody recognizes him and tries to, have a little small talk.
Yeah. And this is really pretty fortunate for Ishak, although he doesn't realize it at first, because the guy who's having small talk with is the astropath for the custodians, Absalom.
For the Occulti Imperati.
Yeah. Absalom Kartik. And
he's a tragic figure.
Yeah. Of all the people.
But this is also something I didn't know. Astropaths, at least he's able to pick something up from him.
Yeah, so an astropath is made, not born. And they talk about this more in The Outcast Dead.
Mm-hmm.
But like if you're a really good psyker, you'll be, like you shoot lightning. Like lightning is your deal, or fire is your deal, or telekinesis or whatever. But if you become an astropath, whatever that skill was sort of just gets channeled into astrotelepathy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not that every astropath can sort of hear somebody nearby's like thoughts, but that was probably this particular astropath's like natural talent. And it doesn't really get turned off,
Nope. And he figures out what Ishak saw, and he knows it.
and instead of just coming clean to, again, the guy who works for the custodians, that like, yeah, man, those word bearers, they got some weird shit, man. No, he just tries to leave.
Yep. And he's like, yeah, come with me. Ishak, no. Astropath, yes, you will. The custodian will kill everybody. Okay, I'll join.
Yeah, like, you don't understand. He'll kill everyone who doesn't tell him about this. And that's finally what gets him to change his mind.
Yep.
So they go off to see the custo.
Try and tell him what's going on. And we join Dagotal. Well, we join Argotal once again, finding Dagotal.
Mm-hmm.
Poor Dagotal.
Yeah, he had a bad time.
I mean, he's dead. At least the time is over.
Yeah, all things considered, he got off light. Except for, his soul went back into the warp with the demon already right there to munch on it. So
there you go. Also, Argotal drinks out of a Raven God like a Capri-Sun. I don't like this image at all, but now we have it all in our mind. He just takes a living Raven Guard and drinks him.
It's fine. Yeah, at this point, the battle as such is over. Like the massacre has happened.
Mercy killing's happening.
Yeah, he can see some mercy killing in the distance. Presumably, for those of you that know, Korax gets away. He has now run far enough that it's sort of out of sight, out of mind. And he's seeing some other members of the Gal Vorbach who he hasn't had a chance to, get up with. Torgal, who's just got weird sword arms. And you get a sense of how good Korax was. So there's 11 Gal Vorbach left. after the drop site massacre, which I should tell Steven, because I feel like he's brought at least 15 in games against me.
They make them again. They're not the true ones, but it's good enough.
Yeah, they're like Gal Vorbach light. But Corax has killed 24 of them.
Yeah.
And again, not even fully Gal Vorbach yet. Argeltal was ripping regular Marines apart with his bare hands. So Corax had himself a bad day, but a really impressive fight. And it seems like Raum is sort of satiated, right? Argeltal is back in charge of himself.
Yeah, Raum is slowly going back to sleep. Or going in the background, fading out. I don't know. It's interesting, but Argeltal gets more and more awake, but they still recognize each other. They recognize each other with smell. So there's definitely some animalistic stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they are done. They're tired. They're looking at each other. And the Legion sees it. They talk to each other. They are the blessed ones. It's just a whole bunch of weird religious stuff.
Yeah. And they start decrazifying. Like as the demons fall asleep, they're kind of turning back into Marines. Argeltal can get his helmet off, something he hasn't been able to do for a while.
Oh.
Yeah, he enjoys the world's air instead of the filtered oxygen of his warplate. Look at him. Feeling better about his life.
Yeah. All happy and satisfied. He finally did what they were supposed to. They killed a bunch of people. The demon came awake. That's a good day.
Yeah.
A good day for a wordbearer.
And the traitor legions are just running around looting the dead for trophies.
And even better, Erebus is there too. And he gives Argeltal forgiveness.
And they're all buddies again. Oh, wait. Argeltal's a little annoyed at him still.
Of course.
And now you find out, right? Because this whole book, we know that Argeltal was like an apprentice to Erebus, and at some point, instead of being a chaplain, became a regular dude. And apparently, the reason why is Argeltal tried to kill Erebus, just straight up.
Yeah. I would have killed you had I the chance.
I don't think it explains why.
No, it just says that it's happened, that he tried to, and he really wanted to kill Erebus. But then it doesn't say why. Argeltal wonders how much of the loyalty is written into our blood. It's overall an odd scene, because I really want to know why Argeltal wanted to kill Erebus, but I don't think there's any explanation anywhere.
No. In the discussion, Erebus says that Argeltal thinks he believed too far. He went too far in Erebus's methods. So, like, is that methods for being a chaplain? Is that methods to train Argeltal to be a chaplain? But something, like, it seems very specific that something Erebus did or tried to do is what made Argeltal try and kill him. So I don't know. Maybe it's in like Lorgar's Primarch book or something.
# he deserves it. I don't know what he did, but he clearly deserves it. Erebus deserves every single being trying to kill him.
Absolutely agree.
I skip a lot of those parts sometimes because they just talk about books, they talk about the past, they talk about stuff. A lot of their doctrine.
Yeah, like Erebus let slip that, hey, while you were out babysitting friggin' custodes away from everybody else, we were, learning all about the gods, and we might have purged any word bearer that wasn't on our side.
He doesn't give numbers out, of course not, but enough died. So,
yeah.
Istvan 3 happened for the word bearers already.
Yep. Probably pretty slowly over the space of 50 years,
Yeah.
Marines that seemed a little too pro-Emperor vanishing in dark corners or being sent to fight a horde of orcs without any backup and ammo. Who knows?
Oh no, the apothecary is late and you got stabbed by a wooden stick. Oops.
Oh no.
Yeah, the custodes, we have suffered a long exile to keep them alive. Safe and surgical kept them silent. He just wants to know why, and of course Erebus being the one, he doesn't want to tell him. Still not.
Mm-hmm.
And we finally figure out what was the thing going on, what they did. The invocation, a spell, sorcery. Ooh.
Yep.
It's nasty.
Erebus has decided he needs him for a sacrifice.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder if this is one of the reasons that, like, you don't let the custodes out too much. Because he pretty much says, hey, like, you can't do it with Space Marines. We're too mass produced. We've got too many other shit running around. We don't have a good link to the Emperor.
Yeah.
But a custodian.
He's a bit closer.
Yeah, he's just one removed.
It's interesting that, well, at least at this point, a Primarch was not considered yet. Probably even Erebus knows that Lorgar would lose his pants if he would offer that up.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where he did consider it, but decide probably not something I should ask. Like,
hey,
if we got a POW...
Son, which of your brothers can we kill?
Yeah, it turns out that's probably not a great answer, but that's his master plan. He's going to have some custodes and do some warp shenanigans to get the Emperor with him.
Yeah.
We'll see.
And we get another interruption, because of course, right now, the custodes the ships where the custodes are on arrive.
Yep. Arriving and want to get on board the Profundus. And the Argeltal's just like, fuck it, let them on. It doesn't matter. Like, we're coming back. We'll deal with them.
Yeah. Is the ship broken? Everything's well. We won. He's telling the... I'm sorry, this is just so mean.
Yeah, it really is. And this is actually, I think, one of the few mistakes Argeltal makes in this whole book is instead of just like blasting the custode ships out of space or being like, no, come down to the planet, he lets them go onto the Profundus while there are no Space Marines there.
With the Blessed Lady in it.
Yeah.
And yeah, Aquilon, he learns right away what is going on. He knows horrible things did happen. His astropath tells him right away. The Aquilon knows all the custodes got delayed.
Yep. And
can't reach anybody. Know that something bad, and Ishak is there. Ishak is there to tell the truth. Ishak is gonna become famous.
Ishak shows them some pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, boy.
And shows them where, or knows where it happened, more or less. And Aquilon knows we are betrayed. Who are you gonna go to if, all the Space Marines did betray you? In fact, the whole Legion betrayed you. Who would you go and talk to in this case? In the Wordbearer ship? Well, no Space Marine is on the ship.
Well, Caro, I think I'd want to talk to the person that's been acting as their personal confessor for the last 50 years.
Oh, that's such a good idea.
Right? I bet she knows what's going on.
She listened to them the whole time. So yeah, they go and want to have a nice little talk with the Blessed Lady, our dear Cyrene.
And they are going and will kill everyone that stands in their way.
And we don't get to see, or we don't follow them while doing this. No, we sit there with Cyrene, who's trying to finish some writings. She's just trying to finish writing. And she greets Aquilon. And there he is, calling her a traitorous whore. I don't think she did betray him. I mean, she betrayed... She followed the Wordbearers. She betrayed the being who destroyed the city, took her eyelight,
Yeah, like, she didn't betray anyone, and it's been a long time since she was a prostitute. Like, come on.
Oh, come on. I still don't think she was a prostitute. But hey, Aquilon has some kind of, how do you call it, gentlemanness? I don't know. Code of honor. He allows the maids to leave.
Yeah, which, is More than most Imperial servants will be giving Chaos Worshippers here in a bit.
Mm-hmm.
But it turns out that the word bearers aren't entirely off the ship.
Yeah, they're not completely insane and stupid. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Xenu 73 shows up. He's been hanging out, presumably
Guarding her?
Somebody's orders were, hey, make sure the Blessed Lady, nothing bad happens to her just in case.
We need to make sure it's a member of the Legion watching over them. And yeah, it is Incarnadine.
It is.
Good old Incarnadine.
And we leave as the Custodes, and Incarnadine just barely start fighting.
Yeah.
Because ADB does love leaving us on cliffhangers at 3-page intervals. It's wild.
It is nuts.
It makes you flip. It makes you flip through it, though. I tell you what.
Yeah, it does. You read real fast, and then again. And we are back with Argot Hall, and they know something is wrong because, oh god, there are Custodes loose on the ship. If you miss that, you have bigger problems on the ship.
Yeah, there are Custodes there. There are no Space Marines there. The militia aren't. They don't count in this scenario. So Argot Hall is kind of freaking out.
Mm-hmm.
Gets on a gunship, starts running, wants to know what Xenu 73 is doing. They can't get a reply from him.
And he's talking to Raum. And Raum's sleeping.
Yeah, Raum's had a big day.
He ate a lot. He's in food coma.
Demon food coma.
Once again, we skip back. And this time we skip to the guy who never talks.
Mm-hmm.
Sithrin?
Yeah, Sithrin.
And he fights like he always fought. In silence and solitude.
Because he doesn't have any friends. Because that's not what Custodes are for.
And, one Custode dies. One does actually die. Interesting. Kalhin is dead. So yeah, we don't even get to see what happened to Cyrene because, no, it skips ahead.
Yeah, or even the, badass fight between a giant robot and 4 custodians.
I don't know how much of a badass fight that is. It's only one giant robot against 4 custodes.
I mean...
if the custodes don't get that, then they're real bad custodes.
Yeah, but a custode didn't make it out. That's always a good time.
No. The custodes made it out. One of them died in the corridor.
Yeah, one of them is dead, but,
And we don't know who killed him. But yeah, we go back to Xenu 73.
Yeah, he is not in a good place. He's dying.
He's dying. Shutting down. Dying. It is interesting. He's just slowly, part by part, is dying. And he is an adept of the Mechanicus, so of course there are some robot parts in him. It's just very interesting. One by one, they keep talking about what dies.
Mm-hmm. Just slowly shuts down.
He would have taken no pleasure at all in the irony that his withered organs of meat stove on for half a minute more, still trying to feed life through a body that couldn't process it. So yeah, he would have been real sad about the fact that the weak meat lives longer than all the awesome parts he put in himself.
Yep. Although to be fair, neither of those were coming out of a fight with a custode alive. But
nothing comes out of her.
Yeah. But we do stay in the room.
Mm-hmm.
And then Zaffin and Argot Hall show up.
They see it. There she is. Cyrene.
Yep. Real dead.
Split in her chest. And Argot Hall is ready. Raum is ready. He smells the blood. Blood soon. Hunt. And they don't even try anymore. And she actually... wow, she's still there. And she says one last thing to him. This was my nightmare, she says. To be in the dark, to hear a monster breathe. While Argot Hall, Raum, both of them are kneeling over her. And the last thing she ever says to him is, "What have they done to you?" And she dies before he can say anything.
Yep. And
that's a badass death, man.
Yeah, I feel like any lingering hesitation that Argeltal had about, fighting or killing these particular custodes are now gone.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. He doesn't like Erebus anyways. He knows Lorgar didn't want to keep them alive.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's time for a little hunt. And it's interesting. Raum takes over at this point. Argatal is just gone, taken by grief, by sadness. I don't know, but
yeah, I think he just loses his mind with grief for a little bit, I think.
Yeah, and he wakes up to Raum destroying or killing some of the servitors and some of the humans.
Yeah, just butchering his way through the crew, presumably while chasing custodes?
Yeah. And Argatal tells him not to. Raum promises not to do it anymore. They keep going, they're hunting. And all the Galvorbak are hunting for the custodes, all of them. And they know they ran. And Safen still wants to keep them alive. Safen still cares about Erebus wants them. But Argatal, I do not care what Erebus wants, sent them to the ground in flames.
Yep, Argatal has left his last fuck with the corpse of Cyrene.
Yep.
And
looketh at all the fucketh I giveth. Or however it is.
Look at the field in which I grow my fucks, and lo, it is barren. So 7 ships begin blasting out in the void in the hopes of just blowing this tiny little gunship out of the sky that the surviving custodes are on. And it takes about a minute, but they do it, which is pretty impressive. It's kind of like, using a shotgun to try and kill a fly that's on the other side of the room. It sounds like it would work real well, but it
doesn't.
It generally doesn't. Or, with the lances trying to hit a fly with a laser pointer on the other side of the room. Again, it doesn't really work that way. But they managed to get it. And Argatal is kind of hearing the reports on the Vox about it. And the Thunderhawk isn't outright just annihilated, which is wild. It's just in an uncontrolled descent.
So, of course, they're ready.
So, yep, he has the Galvorbak go to the assault deck and get on a drop pod because shit is going down now.
We're jumping down. We're getting into the drop pod. We are landing on the ground. And that's where they meet. That's where Safen, where the Galvorbak are finding the custodes. And Aquilon knows and talks to the Crimson Lord, revealing his true self to those he has betrayed. And I'm sure it has to cut deep for Aquilon because keep in mind, Argatal is the only one he trusted.
Yeah, for the entirety of the mission, this is the one guy he thought was a pretty good dude.
The only good dude in the whole Legion. And oh wonder.
Yeah, and he's a demon now, Aquilon. Your choice in friends is bad, and you should feel bad.
Argatal doesn't care. The only thing he cares about is that you killed Cyrene.
Yeah, and Aquilon says, I executed a traitor who had borne witness to a legion's sins. So obviously he regrets nothing.
Oh, no regrets. And there's a whole amazing speech in here. How, as a space marine, we were never human. Because Aquilon clearly says, you banned everything you meant to be human. Everything it meant to be human. No, they are not human. They have never been, they have been human for a few years, but that's it.
Yeah, they were born human, but not by the time they get power armor.
Yeah, there's no humanity left. There's a long talk. Aquilon tries to get them to believe back in the Emperor, the true light, but no. He killed Cyrene.
Yeah. And Aquilon is trying to, probably not talk him out of it, but convince him that he's wrong. No. This isn't what we're here for. And Zaffin, starts being like, oh, the Emperor challenged the gods and damned humanity with his hubris. And we can only like survive by worshiping chaos and blah blah blah. Boy, and Aquilon's just like, you have all been deceived real bad.
Yeah. Every time we tried to phone our emperor, we had an answering machine on there.
Yeah. And, Argeltal is still, like, all Argeltal is saying to Aquilon at this point is, you killed Cyrene.
To be fair, Argeltal has some regret or feels bad for what they had to do. The ritual they have to do is real nasty. They have to use somebody who doesn't want to be in this position, because if they use somebody who wants to be there, they die faster. They just use somebody unwilling. It's real nasty. It is not good.
Yeah.
But there we go. We are ready. There's the clash. Aquilon cries for the Emperor. And Dembski-Bowden just answer with laughter of demons.
Laughter of demons. Yeah.
Mit dem Gelächter von Dämonen.
God, that sounds creepy. Do it again.
Mit dem Gelächter von Dämonen.
Yeah, not great.
Yeah. There's nothing Argeltal remembers of the battle. Like, pretty much nothing. Just slowly seeing his friends die.
Yeah, although probably quickly seeing his friends die. I can't imagine anyone lives real long.
That's true.
But he kind of he doesn't remember the details of the fight except for kind of the order that people die in. So, it's a couple of Gal Vorbach, and then Neuralis, the Blade Master, is the first of the custodes to die.
Yeah. Alive for alive.
Mm-hmm.
And they just kill each other. My favorite, Cithron, the one who never said anything. He doesn't care about his vow anymore. He is talking, and what a great thing he says. I always hated you, Safen. Yeah, I think I would hate Safen too.
Yeah, and I mean, he did just impale Zephyr with his guardian spear, which is great. He deserved it. But, Cithron's had a vow of silence from the moment he left Terra, and the only thing he says is, I always hated you, Zaffin, which is great.
Yeah, well, he's impaling him. That's a good point to say it. Then we don't hear or we don't see anything else of the fight, but instead we get the last letter Cyrene ever wrote.
Mm-hmm.
I hear plates against my door. Please remember the... And that's the end. The last thing she ever said. And in the epilogue, I have a pet peeve about this epilogue, because what is described here cannot be.
How so?
It is talking about Calf, the Crimson Lord being at Calf. He can't be at Calf. He was with somebody else.
No, he said he's not at Calf. It's just they would reach Calf soon.
But if they reach Calf soon, it sounds like he's on the ship.
I mean, he is on the ship.
But he is not a Calf. He doesn't go to Calf. Why would they talk about him reaching Calf if he's not there?
He's not on the planet, but it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility that he goes and hangs out for a bit, or meets somebody in orbit, gets a new ship, gets reinforcements, something.
Also, Argeltal is the last Gal-Vorbak left. All brothers are gone. He's the only true Gal-Vorbak left. But yeah, for me, it's always sounded like here that he's getting ready to fight in Calf. And I really thought Calf was, Erebus and Corferan's job. And meanwhile, Argeltal was occupied with other stuff. With our best bromance in the history of the Horus Heresy.
It really is a good bromance. Him and Karn are buddies.
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons why Betrayer is so good. We'll get to Betrayer. It's a fantastic book.
And we can't do all the super amazing books at the first run around.
It's true. But the last thing in this book is Argeltal, standing there going, man, my Legion needs me. I'll do it.
Sorry, but the Primarch himself had asked if he would to stand with Corferan leading the assault on Calf. That can't be.
I mean, it could be.
No. Corferan, In the other books, they all talk about how Corfarian is there alone with a bunch of the Legion, and they are, have the one job and they can't do it. Meanwhile, he's the whole time with Lorgar.
Yeah, honestly, it's been so long since I read The Mark of Kauth, I don't know what to say to that.
Oh, yeah, okay, to be fair, I never read The Mark of Kauth. Until I read this book, I still say this epilogue here is wrong. Because in Betrayer, they're doing other stuff right afterwards.
Yeah, but that's not right after Kauth. That's like...
No, it's right... No, that's right after finding... I mean, Betrayer... I can't talk about this because we've said not to talk about the book yet.
All right.
I'm going to have this discussion with you. You're going to be the one who has to be with me when we read Betrayer.
All right. Done.
Yep. But he's the last. He would obey even if he stood alone.
And he thinks, my brothers are dead. And then Raum goes, no.
I am your brother.
End of book.
Yeah.
But that actually, like that last, 2 sentences, 3 sentences, really sum up the word bearers, I think, for the whole heresy. They come into the heresy not really trusting any of the other legions after what happened at Monarchia. They just don't, they think they're all on their own. They're going to do their own thing. And they don't have any friends. But the demons are their friends now. And we all know how great an idea that is.
I can't. One of the things I don't understand about all the legions which fell because of the word bearers. Why did everybody like the word bearers?
Oh, why did they listen?
Why did they like them? They were the word bearers. They have been really horribly embarrassed. Why does Horus listen to Erebus? Out of all the word bearers, how could he have? How did he do all the things? How did they manage to do all the things? I think that's the biggest thing for me. A lot of those I don't know. I don't like Horus because he listened to Erebus and it's all his goddamn own fault.
It really is. And it comes back to what I said earlier about them just not understanding that demons lie.
No, they don't lie. That's the thing, Austin. They don't lie. They just don't say the whole truth. And then the things they show come true.
Yeah, Horus gets shown a vision of 40K, essentially. So he sees, the Emperor being worshipped as a god and the statues of all the loyalist Primarchs. And at no point does he think, man, I wonder if the reason there's no picture of me is, maybe that's because I tried to lead a rebellion against the Emperor and failed. No, he thinks, oh my God, look how I've been betrayed. I've been loyal to the Emperor and I don't have my own statue on a pedestal.
Well, that's again...
Bro, put 2 and 2 together. Even a little bit.
They're superhumans that can't do math, I guess. I don't know.
They're real dumb.
Well,
it's just Horus's hubris. That.
Yeah, we need to talk about this in the first book.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna happen one day. I don't want to do the first book because then I have to do the second book and I hate the second book.
Maybe we could just do a mini episode.
But there's so much good stuff in there. We'll see.
But yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it has been a lot of fun.
That is the First Heretic.
So this was the last episode of the First Heretic with Austin. The next book planned in the series is Legions, but I can't tell you yet when this will happen, so just keep reading, guys. I appreciate all of you listening. I would also like to thank our patrons, the Praetor tier Alex F, Nicholas Quenga, Mr. Baldwick, Jacob Dillon, Matthew Boyce, Joss Phillips, Gardner Tree of Woe, Joe from Music City Heresy, and Chris Mack. Also our Centurion tier, Green Corswain, and Tensor, Minis by Applesauce, Scott LeMay, Andrew N., Black Lego Painting, Angry Boy, John Christensen, and Mark Henry. And last but not least, our Sergeant here, Nicholas Gillen, Aaron Maynard, Garrett Lowe, Travis Smith, Duncan, and Emily O'Hare. Thank you very much, and you guys are awesome.
Thanks for listening to another podcast from the Remembrancers Retreat. If you enjoyed this episode, consider leaving a rating on iTunes or Apple Podcasts. You can also find our swag store at teespring.com/stores/RR30K podcast. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter at RR30K podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at remembrancers_retreat. You can also visit our website, rr30k.com, for podcast updates and the Battlefleet Heresy Compendium. You can also leave us a voicemail for us to play on a future podcast at 1-929-437-3791. That's 1-929-HERESY1. And you can also leave us an email at theremembrancersretreat@gmail.com. Thanks again.